with the natural light as my backup. Yeah, it's running. I'm off the set right now because I'm going kind of downstairs. Just kids on Halloween candy that have been away with their dads for the weekend, and this is all three. They come back and it's just the first day is just a nightmare every time, and yet I'm somehow surprised. And then I check in every single video I did yesterday. I got flagged by YouTube, so I'm not talking about it anymore. But it had stopped for a while. And over the last 3 days, they've flagged a total of 14 videos. So, kudos to the bot for picking up on my offensive content about trades, standings, games. The stuff that offends everybody. Alright, so statistical things I've picked up on. So I went through and I found goal leaders for each team that are leading by more than for other teams. I also found zeros, and I found statistical anomalies. So I'm going to go through team by team, and I'm going to use the decals I haven't had a chance to transfer onto anything or figure exactly where I'm going to put them because they're giant. So Anaheim. Anaheim doesn't have anybody who's leading by a ton. They don't have anybody who's off to a 0, and by 0 I mean no goals, no assists. And the only slow starter I found was Jakob Silfverberg, 14 games, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. But he has been picking it up, and in recent games I've noticed him more. So I don't think he's going to be on that slow list for long. Arizona. Here's where it gets interesting. So they rank number 1 in totals in terms of Clayton Keller has 10 goals. There's 3 guys at 3 goals. Those are the next runners up. So he leads the team in goals scored by 7. So this is part of the reason why Clayton Keller early on should be a favorite to win the Calder. And maybe look at him for the Hart, because nobody else in Arizona is scoring very well. There aren't any zeros worth mentioning there. And slow starts Tobias Reeder, 15 games, 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points. Help Keller out, kiddo. Help him out. Let's go. Boston. This won't include goaltenders, and it won't include Vegas either. I don't have a Vegas one, and I didn't really have anybody from Vegas to mention in this. Vegas doesn't have slow starters. They don't have anybody at 0 that we wouldn't have expected. And in terms of goals scored, it's more even than you'd think. You'd think, well, James Neal must lead it by a lot. Nope. All right, so Boston. Their goals leader, it's not a big deal. Frankie Vetrano's sitting at a 0 in 9 games. That's just brutal. And I couldn't find anybody off to a slow start other than Frankie that was worth mentioning. Sabres, they don't have anything in the goals category. Slow starts, yeah, they got one. Matt Molson, he's got a 0. So he's both a 0 and a slow start. Like, I know Matt Molson is on the back 9 of his career, as one might say, and you might expect him to not score as many as he did, say, back when he was with Tavares. He misses Tavares. I wonder if he still sends him emails. And do you miss me at all? You sure? Because I'll come back. I'll talk to them. No? No, I'm doing fine. It's fine. Sam Reinhart's off to a slow start. 14 games, 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points. It is to be mentioned that Sam Reinhart has been off to a slow start. And he is, at this stage of the game, I wouldn't call him a bust per se. I don't know how to finish that sentence. Calgary. So the Flames. Sean Monahan has 8 goals. There's 2 guys at 4 goals. Neither of them are Johnny Gaudreau. That's the funny thing. Gaudreau scoring a ton of points. They're all assists. Setting this guy up. So he is the highest goal scorer by 4 goals right now. Zeros. Jankowski has no points in 6 games. Bennett has nothing. Stajan has nothing. And Tanner Glass. I'd expected a goal out of Tanner by now. Something highlight reelish. And then slow starts on top of that. Troy Brouwer with 2 assists in 14 games. Way to go, Brouwer. I really pulled for him to get signed by the Canucks. Not this past summer, obviously, but the summer before. And his totals aren't inspiring. Apparently, Calgary picked up a lemon. I don't get it either, because I like Brouwer a lot. Carolina. Skinner has 7 goals. Jordan Staal has 4. So he leads in goals scored by 3. That was the cutoff. Anything less than 3, and I didn't care. I didn't find a 0 for them. Guy off to a slow start. Falk. 12 games, 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points. But honestly, their whole defense has to step it up. Blackhawks. Nothing in the goals for. Nothing in the zeros. And Sharp's the only one I picked up off to a slow start with 15 games, 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points. And I know he wasn't picked up for his offense, but a little more than what he's been offering probably would help him out a lot. Colorado. Nothing in the goals for. Nothing in the zeros. It's a nice thing about doing this all in alphabetical order. Colin Wilson, in the 8 games he played this year, no goals, 2 assists. I think they expected a little more offense from him than that. That's why Nashville got out. That's why Nashville was ready to get rid of him. Columbus. Everybody thinks it's the contract. It's not just the contract. Columbus. Don't have a 0 for them. Slow starters. Dubois. 14 games, 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points. I know he's not playing top 6 minutes, but still, when you look at that draft class and what a lot of guys are doing, what Dubois is doing kind of stands out. Him and Puljujarvi. And word has it that Puljujarvi isn't doing a whole lot of work in the minors either. His minor league stats haven't been very good, and apparently word from the organization is that he's not showing a lot of fight down there. You're supposed to be fighting to get back on the Major League roster. So, yeah, Puljujarvi could end up in Europe pretty quick here. Dallas, nothing on the goals. Nothing on the zeros. And Hansel. Martin Hansel, 11 games, 1 goal. So while Hansel was a free agent pickup that looked really good at the time, he has done nothing for the Dallas offense. He wasn't expected to be a star on their offense either, but I think he was expected to do more than 1 point in 11 games. Detroit. Nothing in terms of goals, in terms of, leading by a lot. No zeros worth mentioning on Detroit. And I don't see a slow starter other than Tatar. 15 games, 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points. What's up, Tatar? Happened to Tatar. Edmonton. Goals scored. Nope. No large difference between first and second place in goals for on the Oilers. Zeros. Pakarinen is surprising in terms of a 0-1. I looked at the way he was playing yesterday. And related to Pakarinen on the same line yesterday was Cassian, who's got 1 point in 13 games. When they're your best forwards against Detroit, you're probably not going to win. And they didn't. Cassian's 1 point in 13 games is problematic in that this is Zach Cassian as I saw him in Vancouver. He could be top 6 and playing great for like a week and a half. And all the fan base would be like, man, he needs all the ice time in the world. And then all of a sudden, he'd disappear. Gone into the night. Florida. I don't think I got anything for Florida on here. Nope. Nice logo, though. LA. I don't know that I've got anything for LA either. Nope. And remember, nothing is good. Minnesota. I don't think I've got anything for Minnesota either. Nothing there. No zeros. Nope. Montreal. Yeah, I got a Montreal. Hemsky with nothing. Hemsky with nothing. And I'm not qualifying slow starters from Montreal because, well, yeah, I could maybe pick up Plekanec or Pacioretty. They are picking it up. They are getting better. Things are getting better for Montreal. Okay, so now that I've got distractions here, that's why I'm up here in the first place. The distractions come up here to find me. Cats. Nashville. Nashville has Forsberg with 8 goals. Arvidsson's next with 5, so that's a 3-goal advantage over second place on that team. Slow starts. I don't have anything for Nashville. I just don't. Again, I'm trying not to nitpick about slow starts right now. Jersey. I don't think I have anything on Jersey. I think Jersey's clean. No zeros. Yeah, Jersey's clean. Congratulations, Jersey. You guys are good. Good balanced scoring. Islanders. This is where it gets tough because Tavares has 12 goals. Anders Lee is next with 8. Tavares' 12 goals would lead most of these guys by 4 or 5. So it's just a statement of how good Tavares is this year and how well he's scoring. More than not getting support. And I don't have anything bad to say about any Islander players either in terms of slow starts or zeros. Rangers. Zibanejad has 8 goals. He's 3 ahead of 2 guys who have 5. Zeros. There's no zeros worth mentioning. And Jimmy Vesey is the only one I see off to a slow start. 15 games, 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 points. Remember, there was a large bidding war for this guy's services. Don't buy into bidding wars. Ottawa. Stone with 9 goals is 3 ahead of Brassard, who has 6. No zeros worth mentioning, and no slow starts worth mentioning in Ottawa. So, congratulations, Ottawa. Let's move that up a little bit. Philly. Philly, okay, nothing to mention with the goals. Michael Raffl has a 0. How does Raffl have a 0? I know he's not a scorer, but 0? I guess he wants to just not be in the NHL anymore. And nothing to mention in terms of slow starts. Other than the Raffl 0, nothing really stands out. Pittsburgh. It's the Penguins. Nothing to mention in terms of goal scoring and one guy scoring all the goals. No zeros. Slow starts. I'll go with Hagelin, who's got 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points in 15 games. Again, you don't expect Hagelin to score 50, 60 points, but maybe 40 would be nice, wouldn't it? San Jose. Couture has 8 goals. There's 2 guys at 4. So he's 4 ahead of them. So, San Jose's depth of scoring can be questioned. And then in terms of slow starters or zeros, I don't really have anything on San Jose. San Jose's pretty clean. St. Louis. So St. Louis, I don't have anything in terms of the big goal differential. Slow starts. Dmitry Askin, I always end up wanting more out of him. 12 games, 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points. You always want more out of Askin. I don't know what it is. Tampa. Again, Kucherov has 14 goals, so he would be head and shoulders above everybody else on most teams. There's 2 guys at 7 goals. Remember, Skinner had 7, and he's the leading goal scorer in Carolina. And yet, Kucherov is 7 ahead of second place. There's 2 guys with 7 goals in Tampa. People wonder how Tampa's doing it. Slow starts. Callahan, 15 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points. Ryan Callahan, you got to get in. You got to get some points. At least something. More than 2. All right, Toronto. Yes, Austin Matthews has 10. He is 4 ahead of the next 2 who have 6 each. No zeros in Toronto. And Mitch Marner's 15 games, 1 goal, 6 assists, 7 points. Mitch has got to figure it out because I do kind of agree with people who say Marner might be the one that ends up getting traded. Think about it. Just think about it for a second. If you're Toronto and you want a top 4 defenseman back, you got to trade out a guy who's got really good market value. Marner, based on last year and the idea that maybe this year's just a rough start and he'll get past it, Marner's the guy to trade, not JVR. JVR's a rental. Not Bozak. Bozak's going to get you diminishing returns. Marner would be the one to trade. Vancouver. There's no big goal-scoring difference between first and second. But if Besser keeps scoring hat tricks, there will be. No slow starts in terms of zeros, but both Sedins. Daniel, 5 points in 13 games. 2 of them are goals. Henrik, 3 assists in 12 games. And there's been a lot of talk in Vancouver and amongst Vancouver circles about the Sedins and the amount of ice time they're getting, which is not a whole lot. And it's tough for them. But, this is what happens when you're coming down the road and you're at retirement's end. At least the Canucks are smart enough this year not to overplay the Sedins. It's part of the reason that they crashed last year is because they insisted on keeping the Sedins in a scoring position. And then when they'd show some form of scoring prowess with a player, they'd move that player off their line. Desjardins was terrible for, the Sedins have goals tonight with Granlund? I'll move Granlund over to the Horvat line. No. Oh, you're right. I'll move him to the Sutter line. No, stop that. Just leave. Whatever. So, yeah, that was frustrating. Washington. Remember, I don't have a Vegas decal, and I don't really need it right now because Vegas doesn't have any of these issues. Vegas has Ovechkin with 11 goals. So, again, just because he scored 11, he's going to be 5 ahead of Oshie, who has 6. Nothing worth mentioning in terms of slow starts for Washington. The Capitals are doing pretty well in that category. Winnipeg. I don't think I have anything on Winnipeg outside of Armia. Armia always leaves me wanting more offensively. 3 points in 10 games. So who's off to a slowish start that's surprising you, and who's head and shoulders above his teammates that's surprising you? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys again soon.